So a lot of you probably understand that I am not like a particular fan of Phil Spencer. It's nothing, I guess, too personal. Me and him have had kind of ups and downs in terms of the way we've kind of handled things, and there's been certain times where he would say something or do something that it didn't really make sense to me, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And even with all the stuff that's going on with Xbox right now, I tried to give this guy the benefit of the doubt as much as possible. But, obviously, a lot of people would say something along the fact that Phil Spencer saved Xbox. Is that the truth? Listen, it's really kind of hard saying. He obviously decided to come up with some kind of idea where, that would appeal to Satya Nadella, something along those lines, because they're like a service company, and obviously this stuff is a service, and what they were doing before wasn't necessarily working, and he kind of wanted to know what can we do to make it more appealing for them, and so they came up with Game Pass. Now, is it his fault that this stuff kind of a lot of it backfired? I don't think that it really makes sense to kind of get into all that, but with this particular bit of information, I think it's very clear, and a lot of people are saying like Phil Spencer just doesn't have the eye or the nose to lead a complete division like Xbox the way that he is. Like, he's not doing a good job there. The fact that the things that he wants for Xbox are things that can't coexist, right? Like, you can't be a third-party publisher and not have exclusives and still sell hardware. Like, you can't do that. Those two things cannot coexist, no matter how much you may want them to coexist. But at any rate, I want to get into this video. Should be a good one. What's up, everybody? Crap Gamer here with Crap Gamer Reviews. Back with yet another video. Please like that video and maybe hit that subscribe button. Both those things help out the channel tremendously. Obviously, listen, I appreciate the people that are watching the videos, and, if you guys are enjoying the content, I do daily gaming content, and, it's just always such appreciated that you guys support the channel and stuff like that, so thank you guys so much for doing that. Now, with that being said, I just want to say, it's one of those things that realistically, paints Phil in kind of a bumbling sort of role. I've always looked at Phil kind of as this guy who doesn't really know what he's doing. He's maybe a little bit too friendly or proper to get the job done right. But according to this, he's passed on some huge Xbox exclusives. Phil Spencer revealed in a recent interview that Xbox passed on making the first Destiny game a first-party exclusive, which he said while noting that he's made some of the worst game choice decisions. It's undeniable that Xbox has some decent exclusives under its belt, from Halo and Gears of War to Forza and Fable, none of which have crossed over to PlayStation and Nintendo just yet. But with that being said, Xbox's lineup of first-party games is certainly a lot weaker than its competition, especially now that Hi-Fi Rush and Indiana Jones are moving away from, being exclusives. While you might think that it's just the luck of the draw that Xbox doesn't have as many big first-party games under its belt, it turns out that the Big X has actually passed on signing quite a lot of exclusive games over the past few generations, something which Phil Spencer himself pointed out in a recent interview. Man, crazy. Phil Spencer recently took part in a panel at PAX West called Storytime, where he chatted about his experience in the gaming industry up to that point. At one point during the panel, Spencer opens up about the games that he's passed on while at Xbox, revealing that Bungie originally pitched Destiny to Microsoft. As we all know, it eventually went to Activision, while Bungie ended up being with PlayStation. Xbox purposefully chose not to make Destiny an Xbox exclusive, which is a little strange considering how well the Halo franchise did for them. That's not all, though, as Spencer reveals that Guitar Hero was originally pitched to Xbox, and, they didn't really believe that it was going to work as well as it did. Funnily enough, Guitar Hero is now back at Xbox's stable, so it might be time to kind of change history a bit, although we know if they ever did bring Guitar Hero back, they definitely wouldn't be bringing it back in a case where it would be exclusive because, listen, trust me, I realize that Xbox and exclusives is like oil and water. Those things don't mix, according to Phil Spencer. That's part of the one of the reasons why this guy is a complete and utter kind of moron. I hate to sound like a complete douche or whatever, but yeah, the guy is really just kind of a moron. And honestly, I don't see why people are so high on the guy right now. Just it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense, given the fact that clearly he has these weird ideas about gaming, and just like Mikey Barra said recently as well, the losers are trying to change what winning is, right? Obviously, Xbox is losing, so they're trying to sell people on the idea that, hey, we have these games, and they're doing well, or whatever the case may be, and it's not all about playing on a console or whatever you may think it is. So again, we look at this stuff, and just stuff isn't working out well for them. So again, this is Phil Spencer's fault, in my opinion. But anyway, after bringing up Guitar Hero, Spencer said that he's made lots of wrong choices when it comes to signing games, some of which has been pointed out by different people who shared a video reminding us all that Xbox could have made Genshin Impact, an unnamed Marvel game, and most notably Grand Theft Auto 3 exclusive to Xbox. What's funny is they wanted a Spider-Man game, and Phil Spencer turned that down as well. There was a lot of different things that Phil Spencer could do or whatever. And you know what? To me, again, when we look at this and we look at what Phil Spencer has done, I don't think Phil Spencer has done nearly what people like to give him credit for. And I always say this too, right? And I don't mean to come across as being a dick or anything like that. Like, I'm like, people that will come at me sometimes on social media, or maybe even here in the comments, and they'll go, "Oh, well, PlayStation did it." Like, I don't care about PlayStation, right? Like, I don't have a problem with PlayStation, but that's not my go-to console. It's Xbox. I'm a disgruntled Xbox fan, so I'm also an Xbox fan who has so much Xbox stuff that just quitting Xbox and playing everything on PlayStation doesn't work, unless magically all those games I have digitally and physically can all of a sudden work on my PlayStation. So unless that happens, yeah, it's not going to happen, and I'll continue to kind of speak my mind on the fact that Xbox themselves really kind of ruined the platform and the brand for many of us as fans. We all expected certain things. We expected them to be competitive, to want to compete. They didn't even give themselves a chance, right? It's like, okay, well, we bought these companies because we want to make exclusive content where Game Pass is, and we're gonna do that, blah blah blah. And then we went from that to Xbox can't out console Sony and Nintendo. Xbox can't do this. Xbox can't do that. Listen, as a person who suffers with like depression and anxiety and stuff like that, that negativity is no way to live your life, man. You've got to be positive about stuff, and to speak that like, oh man, we're awful, we're terrible, right? We'll never be able to beat them. Like, that really, what does that tell the people working for you, first of all, right? And this is Phil Spencer, the literal head of Xbox, who's saying these things, right? The literal head of Xbox has turned down some of the biggest games in the industry, in the world, right? I don't get it. It is such a weird thing that these things happen. I honestly just feel like at the end of the day that he really doesn't know what he's doing, and like, he's admitted that he doesn't know what he's doing. But there's also these other kind of instances where people just try to give him all the credit in the world for anything that Microsoft does, and I'm left shaking my head like, what in the world are you guys talking about? It doesn't make sense to kind of hype this guy up as some savior of Xbox when Xbox has never sold less, and there's never been less of a reason, to actually have a, to really have, like, honestly, like, who would trust Xbox at this particular point right now? I think that's something that, we all have to kind of look at. And it's just one of those things where we kind of shake our head a little bit, and again, Phil Spencer's the one doing this stuff. Phil Spencer's the one that's kind of just being the way that they're doing things is just kind of wrong in my opinion. Like he doesn't really care about the fans and anything like that. Realistically, when we're looking at the kind of the times that they've had success with anyone but Phil. And then the time, and now you have, a lot of people just talk about, hey, well, Phil saved the day, or Phil did this, this, and this. I don't look at it at that. I look at this as this guy actually bungled all of this stuff, and it's really, really, really bad to see. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I really do appreciate it. Please like the video, share it out, subscribe, rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.